Hello, welcome. I've spent over 15,000 hours in GTA 5. Most of it racing. I've seen how it's evolved over the years in almost every area. Base game online, the first 5M servers, and the influence of roleplay, the modern era of racing, and it's all evolved to the point where I'm making my own server right now. And I just wanted to make this video sharing my thoughts and personal opinion on the state of things and what to look forward to. I've gotten a few comments on my videos, usually very positive, but recently one of them had some criticism to share and they made me reflect a little bit on the subject. And here you can see the comment. I don't think it's necessarily fair to judge too much because it's probably made right after this experience that seemingly was very negative. I think this comment has a bit of validity to it, but also a lot of bad takes. Project Street is exactly what it's meant to be, and it's your choice at the end of the day to play in that environment. It's meant to be a hot lap server. The removal of props and open checkpoints are intentional. I say there's still a good amount of checkpoints and tracks that, yeah, they do lack refinement, but overall they've done a good job at keeping it clean and, tidying it up recently. There are plenty of reasons for no contact racing, but especially when you're racing with up to 100 other drivers on a map like GTA 5's. That alone is enough to justify it, but another reason for no contact in general is due to the poor netcode and desync system that happens on 5M. It can become so bad that it breaks the aspects that make racing racing. If you can't drive or dive the inside without launching the other driver into oblivion, or take a corner side by side, make that late sharp maneuver, or pull a classic switchback without swooping the opponent with your bubble, what is really left of racing? This has been something I've experienced for years, and it just means that in order to pass someone, you have to just wait for the mistakes, or get a better run up, have more power in your car, or just a long enough straight to even use that. And it is a valid way of passing, but it's certainly cutting racing short. It's not how I prefer racing, and I doubt other people prefer racing like that as well. Like, sure, it's nice to go fast and hot lap, push yourself in your own limits. And I fully agree that the no contact leaves out a core part of what racing is, and what makes it fun at the end of the day. The only decent contact racing server on 5M that I know is Project Homecoming. It's probably a combination of the 30 player limit, efficient server resources, and a good host. So it's not perfect, but it's as good as it can get for 5M. One thing I'll agree on is the tactics people resort to in order to gain an advantage. It is a natural thing to want to give yourself the best odds and conditions, but it can get a little too much in my opinion. A little overly sweaty, as you might say. People are way too comfortable swerving around to grab curb boosts and other boosts here and there and just boosting all over the place. And when you see someone else do it, you think to yourself, well, I guess I'll do it too. And it just leads to the general environment becoming super sweaty, where people just let ego overcome their honor. When combining this with short shifting, it leads to huge gains. There have been infinite situations where I've seen myself lose time to someone in almost inexplicable ways, but it's really just min-maxing the short shifting more often than not. I can only imagine how it feels to be a new racer on GTA and just have no idea how you're losing time in so many of these situations, because even if you do have experience in other games, it won't be enough to overcome the exploity nature of GTA, and you kind of just learn these things by yourself. I don't think these things are hard to learn, and typically people get up to speed, within a couple months, but, as a first impression, it's probably not going to be great for most people. But I must say, these issues are not exclusive to Project Street. The same experience happens on Homecoming when it comes to brake boosting, for example, which, in my opinion, is a far more degrading exploit to racing. Brake boosting just... For those who don't know, you brake whilst holding the gas over a crest or a pothole, and you will gain ridiculous amounts of speed, and that amount of speed varies. Some people might say you can do it consistently. I disagree. You can do it consistently, but you'll get varied speeds. And it's just another element that doesn't really fit into the core racing aspects. And then we have this. That's right, the setup tech. The optimal setup for cars. And unfortunately, it is true. Cosmetics do influence how cars drive. It's not by huge margins, and it's not going to make any miracles happen. It does not affect the raw speed of the car. It will simply make them easier to drive, absorbing bumps and rotating more or less depending on what car you're tuning, really. I could go on, but yeah, point is, there's a lot of cheeky tactics used to be faster in GTA. And I would not be surprised if certain people are gatekeeping some techniques. We really don't know. And then we have the, graphics optimizations, which they also have an influence on how fast you can go. If you do set all your settings to the lowest and take off shadows and your game looks like shit, yeah, your frame times are going to be slightly better. Your game will feel a little bit more responsive. Visibility will be, very good. But it all just screams try hard. But a lot of people will still do it. Getting that extra 1/10 of a second here and there is, very beneficial, and it is significant gains. Having a solid, consistent frame rate is very important to being consistent in general. So, the abolishment of our beloved GTA lore. I assume you mean the cars, and I will say, yeah, the lore of GTA 5 and the world around it is very cool, very well made by Rockstar, but when it comes to choosing lore versus real cars, I would not bat an eye at a lore-friendly car. If anything, racing real cars immerses me more and just helps motivate the love for cars that I have, as now you can share your real-life taste for cars in the game that you also love playing, so I don't see how that could ever be a bad thing. And yeah, overall, I'd say if the vibe wasn't good for you, then just don't play on the server. It's not for everyone, but I think Costa and all the devs have done a great job at making a chill, fun server to race with cool cars. Just do what's fun for you. And, you tried it, maybe you didn't like it, that's absolutely fine. That stuff covers most of the bad side of GTA racing in general. It's not exclusive to one server, but it's just the reality of GTA 5 racing. It's been that way for years, and it will continue to be that way. But that being said, there must be plenty of good, otherwise why would I have spent over 10,000 hours racing? Racing in GTA is satisfying in a way that no other game can replicate. It's a very arcadey approach to driving, but it retains your essential aspects of real driving. There are limits to traction, and carrying a momentum through corners is essential. And it's really what makes or breaks a good driver, is knowing how to carry your speed in this game. You've got your basic racing techniques that will still apply here, good throttle control, brake timing, steering reflexes, and all of that will make you stand out from the average driver. And I know earlier in the video I said something about, newer racers, even with experience in other games, would be a little confused on how they're losing time. Yes, that is true in certain scenarios, but, having experience from other racing games does still help a lot. You'll be way faster and you'll be able to adapt quicker to the jank that comes with GTA 5. Then there's the map, with a great mix of roads, some tight, others wide. The city areas are mostly flat, but they have enough surface bumps and curves to keep you engaged, and the hills with their smooth elevations and beautiful sceneries. And then all the quirkiness that comes with racing on roads designed without racing in mind. It's all very unique to GTA, and it's fun. It's hard to describe. And then you have the fact that GTA 5 is as popular as it is, which helps in keeping, racing activity active, even to this day. That, combined with the efforts of those who, create the racing servers and maintain them, there's just a good environment. It's very easy to get into, and it's typically very fun. And yeah, just the base game itself, it's a sandbox, which means there's a good amount of variety everywhere you go when it comes to cars, tracks, racing type, You have your sprints, rallies, circuits, traffic on or off, contact racing or no contact. It's really up to each server what they want to focus on, and having options is nothing but a great thing. And whilst yes, I've been doing this for far too long, it's still the game that I love the most. And I still have a lot to give, and right now I'm trying to create a racing space inspired by the best of it all, in my opinion. It's a passion project called Nightzoom. Many of you have already seen it and, seen me tune cars on stream, but for those who don't know, it's, like I said, a passion project made by me, BJJ, and Anthony Z. BJJ is the coding wizard that makes it all possible, whilst I've focused hundreds of hours into tuning around 100 plus of your favorite cars, all of them with balanced performance and a fun, faithful handling style that seems to be the common favorite for street racing. In short, it's a racing RPG, a driving heaven that is inspired by my favorite aspects of racing games in general, with a bit of light roleplay and economy system to keep players busy and motivated to earn exclusive cars, unique opportunities, jobs, missions. You'll be creating your own crews and your own hangout spots and properties to keep all of your cars. The list goes on, but I'll leave it at that for now, and I'll talk about it more on another video. But just stay tuned because there is an announcement coming for a closed beta, so if you're interested in that, keep your eyes peeled. The message that I want you to take away is that whilst GTA 5 has had its ups and downs, it remains as the ultimate sandbox, and it's the best place for me to create content related to racing and everything I like about the game, at least until GTA 6 comes out. But even then, I believe GTA 5 has plenty to give after 6 releases. There's still a long way to wait though. I hope you've all enjoyed the video. Feel free to sub. Thank you all for watching. Take care.